If you work in travel and hospitality, you are swimming in terabytes of raw data. Booking logs, flight manifests, seasonal pricing fluctuations, it never stops. But collecting numbers is not the same as understanding them. Our goal right now is to cut through that noise and build a customized, highly targeted plan to put that data to work. To do this, grab a piece of paper and draw a simple grid. We are going to build your tourism analytics blueprint by filling in these 4 empty quadrants, step by step. Forcing your strategy into a constrained 4-part layout removes the temptation to track everything. It takes your operation from simply holding on to massive amounts of information to generating specific, actionable insights. Let's start with Quadrant 1. This is where we establish your operational North Star, the sequence that turns raw information into actual value. Look at this sequence at the bottom. It shows the core pipeline, from raw data, through analytics, to insights, to smart decisions. Every metric collected must serve this final step. If data doesn't help deliver a better customer experience, cross it off. For the second quadrant, you decide how deep to look. We are choosing your analytical lens. This diagram breaks down 4 levels of analysis. Start with basic observation, like descriptive analytics, scaling up to strategic prescriptive analytics. Notice the scope difference. A bar chart tells you what happened in the past, while a predictive model forecasts what will happen next. Pick just one of those analytical lenses for your blueprint, and then consider the raw materials you actually have on hand to feed into it. This graphic shows your main data options. You have to identify if you are working with clean, structured data, like spreadsheets of booking numbers, or messy, user-generated content, like social media reviews. By matching the question you want to ask with the specific data you possess, you stop your team from wasting time on unanswerable queries. With pipeline and data types locked in, it's time to move to specific numbers for the third quadrant. This is where most operations stumble. When you have access to dozens of metrics, the immediate instinct is to monitor all of them at once. Don't do it. Look at this breakdown of key performance indicators across the tourism ecosystem, featuring columns for aviation, hospitality, travel services, and tourism boards. Find your vertical and ignore the rest. If you run a hotel, focus entirely on column B. Write down a strict maximum of 3 KPIs for your third blueprint quadrant. For example, a hotel might track average daily rate alongside revenue per available room, while monitoring guest satisfaction score to ensure higher pricing isn't hurting the experience. Restricting yourself to just 3 metrics forces leadership to zero in on what actually drives the operation, keeping your team out of analysis paralysis. The issue with those financial KPIs is that they only measure the transaction. They tell you exactly what a guest paid, but they tell you absolutely nothing about how that guest felt. That brings us to our fourth and final quadrant. We need to add qualitative, social metrics to give your financial data context. This section outlines how to track human reactions. This is your user-generated content toolkit. Notice the separation. Engagement rate tracks the sheer volume of digital interactions, likes and comments, while sentiment analysis reads the text to evaluate the actual emotional tone behind them. Pairing hard revenue figures from Quadrant 3 with soft sentiment metrics in Quadrant 4 generates a complete 360-degree view of your brand's actual health. You have successfully filtered out the industry noise and isolated exactly what your business needs to track. Here is your completed tourism analytics blueprint. 4 targeted quadrants detailing your pipeline, data types, operational metrics, and customer sentiment. Compared to a massive, unstructured data dump, this constrained layout gives you immediate clarity. Your next step is practical. Take the single most important KPI you wrote down in Quadrant 3, open your database, and pull the numbers for the last 30 days. Successful tourism analytics requires a mindset shift. It is never about hoarding the most data, but having the courage to ignore what doesn't matter.